right. Hello and welcome to 806ology. I'm going to talk about what we're doing here. First, we're here with, I'm Karen Welch with Panhandle PBS. We're here with Floyd Hartman. He's Assistant City Manager for the City of Amarillo, and Councilman Eddy Sauer. And hello and welcome to 806ology. And my audio went on anyway. I am wanting to tell you that 806ology is going to be a new thing we're doing here at Panhandle PBS. We will be discussing things going on in the city. It's the study of the city and its surroundings, the surrounding area. And so welcome to that. Make time for it on Facebook Live every Wednesday at 10. And we want to talk some trash. I think really this is the topic that's gotten a lot of interaction with you guys and the public. And perhaps that may or may not be the best way to interact. Some people are upset about hearing about this cart proposal. You've proposed putting carts at certain residences and businesses in Amarillo, but not citywide. Talk a little bit about what we're talking about.
So we've got three big problems, and the three big problems are, the first one is a group of residents who are taking the city's providing them trash bags, and they're taking their trash bags and they're sitting it on their front lawn twice a week. And the city is coming by and they're picking up the trash by hand. And so that's really not the best way. In their best interest, it's not in the best interest of the city or the employees that are doing that, taking care of that. Then the second one that we also have is we've got dead-end alleys, and those dead-end alleys are, we've got dump trucks that are going down the alleys and they're having to back out blindly. The alleys are too narrow, they can't negotiate them, they're damaging property, they're damaging fences, and so those need to be taken care of from a safety standpoint. And then we've also got a large number of families who actually have dumpsters sitting on their front curbs.
Are these in certain areas of town, or are they across the city?
It's kind of across the city, but yes. I mean, they're kind of defined. There's some defined areas, but it's pretty well across.
Yes, there are areas where there's groups of these services provided in those mechanisms, but it's throughout the city in different locations. It's been a product of how the city has grown over decades of the growth of the city, such that there are front services provided either by the bags or the dumpsters being in the front, and then obviously the safety challenges with the dead-end alleys.
Right. In some of the older neighborhoods that their alleys really were not built for dumpsters sitting in there and traffic through, right?
Right. Prior to the contemporary subdivision processes, there were some areas where it wasn't produced the same product for alleys, and those services are provided in a different manner. Some of those aren't sufficient for the services that we provide.
Okay. Now, one thing about this has been our dumpsters are old. We're trying to replace dumpsters that are a decade old or more?
Sure. The typical life of a dumpster is estimated to be 10 years. Some of ours are older than that. What has occurred is that there hasn't been a ongoing strategic plan to replace dumpsters at a level that maintains them in quality condition. So where we find ourselves is we're trying to catch up. We've purchased 400 this year. We've started receiving those. Those are going out right now. As we speak, they're being placed in replacement of some of those old dumpsters that are in terrible condition.
So we've been buying dumpsters as we needed to replace some, but we haven't had an ongoing buy a certain number every year.
No, actually, if we did what we really needed to be doing, you expect, so if you've got a 10-year life expectancy, then it'd be real easy to do the math and say we probably need to replace 10% of our dumpsters every year. So we've got 22,000 dumpsters. That's 2,200 dumpsters a year. Yeah. And we bumped it up 400 dumpsters last year, so I think we had a total of 500, I think.
How much does a dumpster cost? I mean,
just around $500 for a dumpster.
Okay, so but still, when you buy 400 of them, it adds up.
Or if you buy 2,200 every year like you're supposed to, that's
every year like you're supposed to? Wow.
So what we've done is enhance the rehabilitation project, the welding and the repair of it, which extends them beyond the 10-year life obviously you don't get another 10 years, but so we've enhanced the rehabilitation and the purchase to the 400. So we're working on short-term efforts to improve that, but we've got to include that in our long-term planning now from this point forward, how to best strategically either repair or replace dumpsters at a reasonable level to maintain quality.
But
So here's a caveat in the idea of giving carts to this particular 3 sets of people is going to be, it's projected we'll gain 1,500 dumpsters that we'll be able to pull out of service, and we'll be able to evaluate those dumpsters. And of course, some of those dumpsters are going to be not serviceable at all. But you would assume that a majority of those are going to be able to be serviced, put back in. And so now then, by doing this, we've quickly acquired another 1,500 dumpsters.
extend the life of,
yes.
of the ones, the alleys, locations of the ones that we have.
Right.
So tell me about when we have this with the carts. I know you're getting questions like, I'm older, how will I deal with a cart, or those sorts of things. What's been the reaction? You've attended some of the meetings.
Okay, so for the most part, the people that fall into the categories that this is going to be for, most everybody, not everybody, but most everybody they're pleased with the idea because, think about this. If you're taking trash bags out twice a week and setting them on the curb, it's going to be a difficult thing to maneuver if you're elderly anyway.
Right.
And so the cart is actually going to be an easier thing for them to be able to maneuver as opposed to trying to get those bags out. And there's all sorts of things that have been talked about of coming up with, and that's one of the great things about this whole trash situation. Me watching what's going on in the city is watching the employees in the departments. They're becoming really innovative, and they're really picking it up, and they're pitching in. Like if we start talking about later on about the solid waste, and once we start talking about what the city is planning and how they're going after handling this, that lets me know that I can feel really confident and trust that we will have an answer to help those who can't get their trash out there.
Okay.
There will be something that'll come up. We can't, not as a city, we can't leave them hanging.
Right. Well, we have options for people with larger items, because I would imagine one of the questions is, what do I do when I want to throw out something large? And I've just got this cart that has to sit in my garage till I bring it out. Talk a little bit about what you're doing in the area of picking up mattresses and.
Well, that's really and I think that the city is doing a good job of laying a layer of trust down. And what I mean by that is, so what's happening right now is if you've got large items, is that you call the city, 378-6813.
Yes, sir.
And I've got that number down now.
378, give it one more time.
378-6813.
Okay.
And they'll schedule it, and they'll be there. They'll be there within 24 hours to pick it up. And so if you'll, instead of taking it and dumping it beside your dumpster in the back, and who knows when that's going to get picked up, because that's a different list of things. But if you put it here, they've set up a program, put it on your front curb, they'll be by in 24 hours. They've done it over 1,000 times already since this program started. They're there, they pick them up, they're gone. My mom did that.
Okay.
She calls me, she goes, somebody dumped a sofa in our alley. What are we going to do about it? And I said, okay, Mom, call them. I'll come by. We'll move it out to the front.
She's got a hotline to the council.
Yeah, she does. So we went over there, and she called on Friday. We went over there Sunday afternoon, put it out there. She sent me a text that Monday morning. She goes, I didn't even get up and see if it was still out there. It was already gone by 10 o'clock. So,
Okay.
So they're doing a great job of that. So if you've got a large item, then you just call. You know that within 24 hours, they're going to get it.
I noted that in a recent op-ed you wrote about that, that you're getting 100 calls a week about
Yes.
Yes,
items
and
like
it's-
that?
Yes, it is. I had
Yeah.
to do the math for a second. Yes,
Yeah.
about 350 a month.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
up
it's
from
increasing.
12.
Okay, up from 12. Okay, so people are starting to utilize this.
They are.
Okay, that's good. I know that this is a reflection of our city. People have talked about how there's illegal dumping and all kinds of things going on. How do we turn the tide on that?
Well, there's a lot of initiatives that we're looking at on that. First off is the communication, the education of the programs that work, the curbside pickup versus the illegal dumping that's occurring in the alleys. We have mobilized flex crews into the alleys to get a handle on the problem as best we can, understanding that as soon as we clean alleys, sometimes there's illegal dumping right behind them. So we're working on that.
What do you mean by flex crews?
Crews from Parks Department, Street Department, other crews, when we're not negatively impacting other services, we're able to bring them in and add resources to address this problem.
Okay.
So that we're making extra efforts to get this addressed in a positive way. Ongoing, what we'll see is the continuing education and putting out the information. This helps that if you'll put it on the front curb and call, we'll get it in that program, prevents it from going to the alleys. But then keeping the alleys clean. Future looks like some kind of program to make sure that we have some mechanism to make sure that doesn't happen, and enforcement of some kind in the future. First off, we're going to work on education and cooperation, and then look at what we do in the future. But getting the dumpsters fixed, getting improved service in that alley, all of these initiatives, we'll be bringing out other groups to help us spread the message by putting the stickers on the dumpsters that indicate put your large items, bulk items on the front, and call the 378-6813 number to get them picked up. So multiple avenues and multiple strategies to improve the alleys is what we're working on.
And honestly, I'm really hoping that the education part is the biggest part of it. So I've got a lady who's been talking to me. She had her alley was full of stuff, and so we got the city to come out. They came out and did it. She sent me a Facebook message, said, "This is really great." Hour and a half later, she sends me a picture. Somebody's already dumped some more again.
Are some of these places that are more exposed, like edge of town places?
No, this is on the north side of town. It's in an alley, and honestly, here's what I think. The effort. She believes it's a neighbor, and we don't know that for sure. But if we can educate them and realize, I mean, the effort that they had to take it out the back door, through the backyard, through the fence, pile it up next to there, they could have just as easily picked up the phone, called, set it on their front curb, and 24 hours later it's gone.
Right. How do you propose to, I mean, it's hard to bring people to a
It
council
is.
meeting. It's hard to bring
It's
people to.
going to be one person at a time.
Yeah.
It's going to be mouth. It's going to be verbal, mouth to mouth, talking to people.
I'm
and
assuming water bill stuffers too and things like that.
That's in the plans, yes.
Okay. But it's hard.
It is hard. We have to change a mentality, and I think part of it's also we're going to have to get people to be proud of Amarillo.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We're going to have to reinstill some pride that, man, we want to keep things clean. It's easy to keep them clean. It's not going to be a hard thing, and I realize it used to be a hard thing. What do we do with it? We don't want it to go all the way out to the city dump, so we'll just dump it out there by the.
It's in the alley
It's
next
in
to the
alley,
dumpster.
and it'll be hidden.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up one point that is available to the customers is they can haul a load out to the dump and show their water bill at no charge.
Yeah.
So every resident and business has that already, the capability of hauling a load out to the dump and not being charged for doing that.
Yeah.
So that's a program that's been in place for a long time, but a number of our residents don't know that.
They don't know that all they have to do is show that. So is it a bill will do for proof or?
Some form of identification that shows you're a resident of Amarillo
Okay.
is sufficient to take that out and not be charged for dumping a load at the dump ground. So
Okay. I want to go back to what you said about pride in Amarillo. It seems like we've been swimming against that downer current for a while. How do you see things changing?
I see them changing a lot because there's people who are really interested. I mean, I talk to people all the time, and they're talking all the time about wanting I-40 cleaned up and I-27 cleaned up, and people coming in, and we've got this beautification. we got a beautification committee, and we had, I don't know, I think there were 20 people that applied for that position, and it was one of the hardest things to pick.
Yeah. How large is that committee? I mean, how
There's
many
six.
did you pick?
There's 6 from the public, 1 from Convention Center, and 1 from Center City, and I'm the representative from the council.
Okay.
So there's 9 of us.
Yeah. And their focus is going to be
To arts, beautification. So I mean, honestly, even the civic pride and the trash part of it, I think it tails into it. I think what we do with I-40 and I-27, what we do at the gateways, how we make it so there's been lots of different things about art that people are wanting to do in town that draw people in to kind of look around and see things. So it's you just got to get a spark.
Right.
There's a lot of kindling laying around. We just got to get the fire started.
Oh, that's true. That's
It
true.
is.
So, well, I appreciate your coming in for the first episode of this 806ology. We're going to talk to the city and all kinds of organizations and just really try to give people information about what's happening
This is one of the
here in
ways you
Amarillo.
help increase pride,
Yeah.
honestly. So
Yeah.
thanks, Karen. I
Sure,
appreciate it a
sure.
lot.
I did want to mention that the city departments are hosting a job fair on Saturday, February 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be at the city's service center, and that's at 800 Southeast 23rd Avenue. They're going to be looking for people to fill all kinds of jobs from solid waste and transit to water utilities, parks and rec. So if you're looking for an opportunity, it might be a good place to start. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.